Okay, Midnight Beta Update Day 10, so we're going to make a preliminary tank tier list. Now, I want to clarify, this is not a final tier list. What this tier list is meant to do is to give you an idea of how the tanks are currently tuned and what you might expect in the next tuning pass. We are expecting a tuning pass, give or take, around December 3rd, so going into the third week of beta, hopefully they have made some changes because there are quite a few things under the super bugged category. This video is not going to be long. This video is going to be a short, quick update for you to stay up to know if you want to know what's happening with the tanks. So right away in the first, we're going to put a few things in S tier. Basically, VDH and Blood DK are currently dominating, but which hero talents? Because we're going to get, that's where it's going to get interesting, okay? Currently, both hero talents of VDH are actually doing really good. You'll have to keep in mind that this icon is Fellscarred, but they've changed it to Annihilator. This is the only tier list that I could find. Both specs of VDH are doing really well. Aldrachi is currently a little bit more tanky, but this one is good pad. The log that you can see here, this is not my log, but some of the top logs for VDH, they are both hero talent specs, and both of them are doing pretty well. They're able to do pretty much the highest keys on beta right now. Very tanky, very good. When I play my VDH, and it's not even my best tank, even in the wrong talent build, they still feel super fluid. The playstyle's good. Everything's good with VDH. So VDH, I would expect there to be potentially a slight nerf or a rebalancing of some of the things here. And then right after that, it's Sand Lane Blood DK. Now, the biggest thing about Blood DK is there are two hero talents. Not both of them are in S tier, but the other thing to understand about Blood DK is that it's bugged. Blood DK is currently very bugged. If you take a look at the top logs, including when I play Blood DK, a lot of their damage comes from Blood Boil because this thing got a massive buff when it was supposed to get kind of a nerf. This is a very easy tuning that they're going to be able to do. It's going to be super simple. They just reduce this value, and all of a sudden Blood DK will go down quite a bit. Blood DK still feels like Blood DK, so I'm not going to rank it like crazy high, but it is worth noting that give or take, if you ask people what's the best tank on beta, some people might even say Blood DK. I still think that it has the problem of they've smoothed it out, but in higher keys, I still think it's very liable to get one-tapped. So these two are looking really good. But now, if we take a look at these numbers, right? We take a look at these numbers, you'll notice that I'm on here on my Guardian Druid doing very similar, same key level, basically, same ability to tank, same ability to, interesting, Guardian Druid looks pretty good. So Druid of the Claw goes in S tier. It actually is very tanky, can do all the dungeons, feels excellent. I don't think a lot of people will put this here because first of all, the bug list is pretty massive for Guardian Druid, so this is going to be a lot more improved, but trust me, it's a sleeper pick. I think it's tuned pretty well right now. I don't know if it necessarily needs nerfs because it's not like it's a one outstanding ability. I think that you might see some slight number changes, but realistically, this tank is fairly well balanced. The single target on Demon Hunter is higher than the single target here. The types of damage profiles are better for Demon Hunter, and Guardian does require a lot of min-max gameplay, whereas this is very sleeper OP. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised if you saw some balancing here. Basically, moving on, you have the other spec of Guardian, which is just unplayable. You can't test it. It's super bugged right now. So one thing I want to show you as we look through all of the logs here, and I've played every tank by this point, except for Brewmaster, and I know where Brewmaster stands, but I haven't tested it personally because it is so bugged on details that you literally can't test it. So if we take a look at my Guardian logs, we can take a look at any of the keys that I've done. Guardian is pretty tanky, feels really good. That was without min-maxing. If we go on to Prot Pally now, this is a Prot Pally log of mine. Prot Pally does numbers, but oh my, is this tank super squishy. Prot Pally, first of all, Lightsmith is playable, but Templar is so bugged I would consider it to be unplayable. In the middle of this tier list while we're watching here, let me just explain to you, these are all of the bugs with just Prot Pally. So somebody made this spreadsheet. These are all of the bugged abilities with Prot Pally. Some things have already been fixed, but this is a lot of bugs here, yeah? Let me show you the bugs for Guardian Druid. As we go back here and we take a look at this, Guardian Druid will get even better here in a second when we realize these are the bugs. Made a little notepad to keep track of them because there are actually this many bugs for Guardian Druid. So when you start to factor all this in, you realize, remember, preliminary tier list. This is just kind of to give you an idea of what you'll expect if there are number tuning coming up. So there's a lot of things going on, and just know the other factor in processing all of this is that when you actually take a look at my Discord, and I've been taking screenshots of my overalls, you'll notice that this is not an accurate overall because there are a lot of things on the meters right now that are not actually counting for your damage. So this was an Algathar Academy, and in this key, you might notice that my damage looks very high compared to the log. In-game damage meters are measuring all sorts of effects that they should not measure. So it's very possible that I got casted on by the mobs in Alcathar Academy, which currently counts as friendly fire damage. There's a great video on that, which you should check out. So when it comes to some tanks, honestly, I think that tanks feel pretty good, but these are the tanks that are actually doing competitive numbers right now. These are the only tanks that are doing competitive numbers. Deathbringer is okay, but everyone's preferring Sand Lane. But Blood DK is really strong. Lightsmith goes, I mean, it's technically not bugged enough to say you can't play it, but it's really, really rough. I can't even put it as the worst tank because there's a worse tank coming. Brewmaster, honestly, both feel okay. I haven't tested Brewmaster fully, so keep in mind, this is mostly going off of logs. If you take a look, Ace is currently the tank that has been doing most PTR keys at the highest level, and his Brewmaster at the key level that he was doing, playing with Vicman and all sorts of cool people, Abigail, everyone, okay. He's doing 55k. Now remember, this is the same tank on his Blood DK who was doing this. So same person. One of them is doing 96, and one of them is doing 55. That is a pretty massive difference, and he's playing Master of Harmony here. So Brewmaster currently tuned. It can live, but honestly, I'd put it here. Now you're like, wait a second, that was a big drop. Why is Warrior even lower than this? Let me explain. If I show you the amounts of people who have been playing Prot Warrior on beta, these are all of the Warrior logs for Algathar Academy, and I'm showing you the same dungeon. All these logs are from the same dungeon. Algathar Academy there's 10 logs total, and a lot of them are at a lower key level. Okay, I have a log on here. If you go to this is one of the top logs that's recorded. This was me, bro. I did 32k. This was so I don't know what they did with Warrior. Basically, they took Warrior and they actually zeroed out the damage aura, and they have yet to rebalance it. So Warrior is the reason there are so few logs on Warrior is because both hero talents are actually terrible. If I had to rank them, I would put Mountain Thane even lower and Colossus slightly above. Colossus at least did a little bit better, but Mountain Thane is literally the worst tank on beta. I would say it's even harder to play right now than Prot Pally. And Prot Pally's squish, but at least it does numbers, so you feel like you're contributing to your team. Remember that tank damage is not always the best way to look at things, but the problem when tank damage is actually this low is you can't hold threat. Threat becomes an issue, gathering becomes an issue. There's a whole bunch of things, like all of your self-healing does nothing. Damage as a tank affects your ability to tank successfully. So it's not just looking at like, oh, I'm blasting the meters and I'm padding. It's like, oh, I literally have a hard time playing if the tank damage looks like this. And this was me not playing perfectly, but doing fairly well as Colossus. This was me like min-maxing my windows and stuff. So, you know, if I did another key and I was combat botting and everything, I'd probably get to 40k. But when you compare it to the fact that there are other tanks just casually doing 80, 90, 100, like, it's not comparable. Obviously, Warrior needs a lot of help, and so does Brewmaster in terms of damage. That is the preliminary tank tier list. If you want to stay updated on any of the other beta changes, I will continue to make cool videos every day, give or take, and keep people updated on what's happening. I love playing the beta, and I will continue to test a lot of tanks. I think I'm going to move on to healers soon and just get a grasp of how healing is feeling. Obviously, healing has changed quite a lot. And continuing on, when the bug list gets fixed, that will be the real time to play. So like one tuning pass plus some of the bugs get fixed, then you can actually test things. Like, I don't know how EC Bear feels. I don't really know how Templar feels. It looks cool, but we don't know how they play because it is actually so bugged that we fundamentally cannot play it. There are talents that are not yet implemented and currently proc at a 0% rate, so we can't even play them. So we have to take that into account. But in general, if you tune into people's beta streams, most likely they'll be playing VDH or Blood DK. You know me, I play Bear, but not many people are playing Bear. I honestly think Bear is great. Bear can do pretty much everything else, pretty much everything that the other tanks can do, and it is tuned fairly well if you start to min-max it. It is now complicated to play, which is super weird, especially for playing Druid of the Claw. And if you want any more in-depth videos on that, I've put a bunch of Guardian Druid min-maxing tips on the Patreon, completely free if you would like to join there. But otherwise, I'll keep making updates, so I hope you enjoyed this preliminary tank tier list. Preliminary. WoW players hate context. Somebody's going to screenshot this and I'm going to get in trouble most likely. But I at least wanted to get my thoughts because I have been able to do every dungeon on effectively every tank except for a warrior. I didn't want to test all that. And I can tell you pretty much how they're feeling. Prot Pally, oof. I want to play it more because there's actually kind of a fun build with it, but it's actually tuned so poorly that I effectively cannot play that tank. So that's the update, and if you would like to see more of this, like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow in the next update. Okay, bye.